Ja, look at you.
Aiken, how about you start? I want to know what you brought.
Okay, I brought Slouching Towards Bethlehem from John Didion because I wanted to read a non-fiction book this month, and I wanted to start with this one because I found John Didion as a very cool woman, but I never read any of her books. So, and everybody says this should be the start. I don't know.
Cool.
And for, I guess, like unruly woman theme, it's breasts and eggs. I'm really curious about this book because I like the topic and it's very popular. I don't think I will finish this in here, but I can start.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good book. And yeah, Persuasion.
Oh.
Yeah, this will be the fourth that I read from Jane Austen.
Cool.
Which she's one of my favorite authors. And I think like the line that sold the book for me, you pierce my soul, I'm half agony, half hope, I have loved none but you.
Yeah.
So people said that this is the most romantic book. I don't know, like the most romantic book of Jane Austen. So that's why I want to finish this book here.
Oh, such a
I also
good
have my Kindle.
Steffi.
So I'll give it a go. Orlando by Virginia Woolf. I have this one on my shelf for ages and I never got around to reading it, and I'm trying my luck. I've heard so many people saying that it's going to be difficult, but I'm going to try anyway. Then I am going to read my buddy read with Kirsty, Girl, Woman, Other. And to brush up my Spanish again, Porque me da la gana. It's by a Spanish rapper who wrote some sort of memoir.
Oh, cool.
So I'm really interested if I can actually understand it. So yeah, this is like my last one.
I have Hintermauern, to Behind Walls, Closed Borders as a Danger to an Open Society. It's non-fiction.
Cool.
I've started it before and I really liked the first chapter, and then I never finished it, so I figured good time to bring it along.
From when is it?
It's quite fresh.
Yeah?
It was out in, I think, October last year
Oh, okay.
or September.
Cool.
Then I have Swimming Back to Trout River, which is a migration but also music lover story. I also started it, not finished it yet, so continuing down. Same for Songbirds and Snakes. I bought all my books that I started but never finished.
Cool.
And I have my Kindle.
Just in case. Anything you've started that you haven't finished on your Kindle?
A lot. Also, all the classics are on here to fit the classic theme.
Cool.
And our February read is also on there.
Cool.
So.
Very good.
I have Salt Houses, which is an intergenerational tale. If you, I think you all know my taste in books quite a lot, and it often is intergenerational tales that focus on women. This one it's from multi-perspectives, different genders, different experiences. The family come from Palestine, but they migrate through to Kuwait and then background and then into Jordan. And you really like see history, and reading it in the current context is like crazy how close the history that's happened before is to present day. And then I have Caliban and the Witch. I started this book and I've been really struggling with it. It's very academic and I was hoping that I could just fit in some chapters because I have to finish it. I don't want any more unfinished books. Like last year I had like 15 unfinished books and I just won't do that again. So trying that one. And then to go with the unhinged woman theme, I brought My Sister the Serial Killer. I like the title a lot, and also I love a book that's around 200 pages and the chapters they're very short and very big font. So this felt like achievable that I could read this throughout the next days, and of course brought the Kindle just in case.
Okay, so I got Brutes because it's been on my list for a while and the cover is just so beautiful that I had to buy it. And then I have Her Body and Other Parties, which is short stories, and I recently read Sent Nudes, which is also short stories, and I really liked it, and I never really liked short stories before, so maybe that's not my thing, so I picked this up. Then for a classic, of Jane Eyre. I found this actually in a zu verschenken box. And I've been meaning to read it for a while, so when I saw it, I thought, well, it's maybe meant to be. And then I have Howl's Moving Castle, because I got it in the book swap, and I'm not really big on fantasy, but I thought maybe now I will be.
I think that looks really cute.
Yeah, it looks really cute.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay, so I brought Briefly a Delicious Life, which is my buddy read with Faye after we ditched Blutbuch. We were unsure if it would fit the unhinged woman theme, but I'm like just 20 pages in, and I feel like it might fit in there. So I'm looking forward to reading this. Then I also have like a few books on my e-reader. First, this Japanese murder mystery. It's called The Inugami Curse by Seishi Yokomizo. And I really have to finish this because my library holder is running out. Yeah. And I also have downloaded our February read. So yeah, maybe, who knows, maybe I'm in the mood for that. So yeah.
I bought 3 books. The only one that I've already started is Herland, Charlotte Perkins Gilman. It's like over 100 years old, so I thought that counted as a classic feminist fiction. And it's so far, it's a really quick read, but so far it's really funny because it's really aged, like, but in a good way. It's like, oh, men, they're so silly, like, yeah. And there's also the yellow wallpaper in here, which I think she's more well known for. And with some people reading Jane Eyre, I thought that's kind of a funny tie-in as well, because that feeds off Jane Eyre. Yeah. Then for the unhinged woman trope, I guess, I bought My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshfegh, because I loved Eileen that she wrote, and I hated Lapvona.
Me too, like both, yes.
So this is the deciding book now to figure out whether or not I like the author's books. And Briefly a Delicious Life, which we will be buddy reading together. I hope it's a quick read, because I've not started it yet, and I really want to still finish it this month, so we'll see.
You've got days.
So this is, I think, who else brought this? I think it was Vivi.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had talked about it in the chat, and I actually found a copy at my mum's, so I was very happy to find that. And I've never read it, so my buddy read with Steph. Very excited for this. I've had it for like 3 years.
Yes, me too.
Then I brought this.
What's
because
that?
This is
yeah.
obviously nothing to do with feminism. But it was a gift from my boyfriend last year, and I'm still only halfway through it, and it's a really nice little cozy fantasy read, and I just thought it would be nice to finish it. And I also have my Kindle.
Any priorities on the Kindle?
This month's read for February.
Yeah.
And the other 100 that I've started. And obviously Libby on my phone. I have also some holds running out, so we'll see.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty big mix.
I love the fact that everyone has at least 3 books.
I was always counting Libby, then I have more.
Yeah. Good morning. Yesterday, me and 7 of my book club friends arrived in this very pretty house in the countryside in Brandenburg in Germany for our little reading retreat. Yesterday we didn't read that much. I read like 20, maybe 30 pages in Herland by Charlotte Perkins Gilman, which is a classic feminist short novel, which I'll hopefully finish today. But yeah, we just arrived. We had to do some shopping because there was like no supermarket within a 20-minute radius here. We made food, we chatted, we played a little like questions card game. Yeah, and today we have the full day. We have Sunday. We have to leave like in the early afternoon. The house is amazing. I think I will try to like show you a few more shots, because even though I tried to film a little yesterday, we were way too excited and it got dark and yeah. It is amazing. There are alpacas in the background that I think are sleeping. Is that how alpacas sleep? Just all their heads together in the middle as if they're scheming and standing up. Behind that there's like a little lake that I think I will check out. I am of course the first one awake. I am always the first one awake. It's like 7:30, but that gives me the chance to roam around a little bit and drink a tea on like the little decking of our house, which I'm just gonna pretend this is my house for the weekend. I think, like, we've all said we have to somehow come up with a way to buy a house together and have this be our weekend home. Like, wow, some people actually live like this. It's so nice. I actually can't think of a better way to start my morning than to be able to just walk outside with some tea and read a book. I'm now 90 pages into Herland, which is the story of 3 men who venture out on an adventure to find a land which people talk of where only women live, and they don't believe it and find it to be true. It is really, really interesting reading this book from, I think, 1915, on how binary genders are talked about, how superior the female race in this book is portrayed. It's really interesting, and it is really interesting actually reading this book while we are here. I'm here with 7 friends, book club friends of mine. We have a feminist fiction book club, and I can relate to this sense of really distancing yourself of, I don't know, the daily grind, I guess. Like in Herland they do talk about the sort of division of labor. I mean, yes, we are in the early 20th century, so it is more extreme, but even like here, our conversations in the evening at some point did center around the fact that we very sort of matter of fact just sort of all helped each other. There were no hard feelings about someone like not clearing up or not helping with preparing the food. I don't know, it sounds like very old-timey, but like we're out in the countryside. I guess I am romanticizing an old-timey way of living together.
Yeah, I need to take a picture.
People, and then she falls in love with the writer George's son, who comes to the oyster, and like, oh my god, it's like I feel like I'm tearing up at each page where she like describes loneliness and
I still have 50 pages left in Herland, and I'm enjoying it. It's getting a bit, sort of a bit info dumpy almost, just on how this society of women works. But yeah, I already can tell that I'm going to be really, really happy that I will have read this. I'm still hoping to finish that today. But because I wasn't absolutely enamored and I want to enjoy all of my time reading, I also started reading briefly A Delicious Life by Nell Stevens, which I'm buddy reading together with Elizabeth, who is also on the reading retreat with me. And the language is so good. I have this really cool bookmark that my friend Anna got me, which you like can use to note down things that you want to remember. and I'm using it apparently to learn some vocab. I did not know what a sacristy is in the church, and I also didn't know the word dyspeptic, which I guess I can now challenge myself to somehow include casually in conversation. The language is so atmospheric and sensory. We're following the ghost of a woman who died as a teenager as she watches Georges Sand and Chopin, or Georges Sand, I guess, the French author, as they spend time in what used to be like a cloister somewhere on Mallorca. And it's so good, like so good. There are so many very like funny sentences. I wasn't expecting this to be a funny book, but basically as a teenager the ghost discovers that she's gay. And that in itself is just like worth reading this book for. But also like the next chapter that I'm about to start is called Prelude number 11 in B major vivace. So yeah, I think that's part of the opus 28 of Chopin's music. So I think once a few have gone off to wander, and once Elizabeth returns, I think we're almost on the same page. I will turn some Chopin and feel ever so cultured, and yeah, we can get into the mood of that. It's so good. I'm so happy we started reading this. This was recommended to me by a bookseller, so trust your booksellers. We're about to have dinner, but I have finished my first book, so I wanted to clue you in. I finished Herland, which has a really excellent ending, actually. And then there's a 20-page short story in here called The Yellow Wallpaper, which I thought was longer, and that was also excellent, really spooky, about a woman who goes to stay in a house with her husband for 3 months, and she gets weirdly obsessed with the yellow wallpaper. That's not a good summary, but that's all I'm going to say. It's a short story. Read it. It's really good. I read about it referenced in a non-fiction book about the depiction of women in literature and women's fiction. So it was really cool to know like the classic text that was in reference to. I was on page 80 this morning, so I read 120 pages today, and yeah, this evening maybe I'll still read a few pages in Briefly a Delicious Life. Is that what it's called? Yeah, we're about to have pizza. It already smells really good, and yeah, I've just like awkwardly come to sit in the second kitchen that this house has because I don't want to update whilst everyone's like chatting and reading. I don't want to disturb anyone. Good morning. I'm outside. There's no one up or out or around, and that's really great. I've had a few weeks of feeling really disconnected. I was sick for over a week. I always feel a bit strange about the New Year's, really. And now that it's the end of January, I feel like it's time to get like back in sync with myself. And being out in the countryside with 7 amazing women bonding over the love of reading has been really, really special. I also do like that I get to like snag half an hour of being alone in the mornings, because I feel like I either fill my time with lots of activity and people, and then I do feel really good, but it's almost distraction from myself, or I jump to the complete extreme and just isolate myself and cocoon inside. And that also works for a day or two, but on the long run, I then feel really disconnected. Briefly a Delicious Life is wonderful. I'm 50 pages in. I read a few pages this morning, and the descriptions are so astute and beautiful, but contain a lot of humour, which is a wonderful mix if you get that wrong, to be honest. I was a bit afraid that the humour of the ghost who's telling the story would make it almost seem a bit slapsticky, but maybe because of the content manner, I'm super invested. I will wander a little longer, but my hands are getting cold sitting here. It is January. And then I think I will head back so I don't freeze, and I will read a little bit more. I will make myself a tea and begin the feeling of heading back into civilization. We do drive back to Berlin this afternoon, so we don't have that much longer to stay, unfortunately. I really wish I could just hole out here with these people. I feel like that would be the perfect mix of feeling calm, and the word that comes to mind is protected, in a environment where I'm just doing those things I want to do with people I like, nothing else, while also maintaining like in social connection, because there's 8 of us here. I was texting with a friend yesterday evening, and I told her, like, I think maybe I do need to move out into a commune. Maybe this is just like a midlife crisis, me thinking that I could survive somewhere in the countryside. I am scared of driving a car. I am not cut out for this. I kill all my balcony plants. I must remind myself that I am very much a city person. Okay, I will stop these ramblings. Good morning, everyone. It's midday now, and I thought I'd share a really cool book that we came across. I'm 100 pages into reading Briefly a Delicious Life, and the Airbnb that we are staying in obviously belongs to a book lover. There are books everywhere, and on the bookshelves we found the German translation of autobiographical texts, excerpts written by Georges Sand, who is one of the main figures in Briefly a Delicious Life that I'm currently reading, which is told from the point of view of a ghost, and she falls in love with the French writer Georges Sand, which is early mid 19th century, I believe, as Georges Sand is on holiday in Mallorca with Chopin. Did I already tell you this? And this book is just like standing on the shelves in this Airbnb, and there are pictures in here, sort of sketches and photos. The house that probably is what the Briefly a Delicious Life, the novel, is based on. The house in Mallorca is like on one of these sketches in here. Such a cool find. Yes, we have to leave in like 2 hours, and I'm already, I have some pains of leaving pains, but yeah, I'm gonna read a few pages more now and maybe see if I can take some pictures of like some of the books on the house that I want to check out. It's been such a lovely trip.